War Room, Gwinnett County, the people's voice, keeping you informed. War Room, Gwinnett County, the people's voice.
Thank you for tuning in to War Room, Gwinnett County. I'm your host, Antonio Jones. We're back with another episode of War Room. If it's your first time tuning in, this is the public square. This is where the people get to come, let their voices be heard, get all of their questions answered from the candidates. And, so we have 5 different areas that we have in focus. Of course, there are other ones that we'll go over too as well. And these don't go in any particular order. We've got the district attorney's office, we got the sheriff's office, the school board, city councils, and county commissions. We're at a fork in the road here in Gwinnett County, and we have a choice that we're going to make as a society. We're either going to take the society in an upward direction, or we're going to keep hurtling towards something that can be quite disastrous. I've been in and out of different communities talking to different neighbors, and particularly I was in Grayson, Georgia yesterday, and I walked up to a couple that were outside. It was late in the evening, and they were putting some plants out, and the husband was standing by the garage. So I walked up to him and I said, "You mind if I show you something?" And what I had pulled up on my cell phone was a video of a previous broadcast that we did involving a school fight. And they had no idea of how bad it actually is. Because if you look at the news, the local news even, they seem to be, I would say, underreporting the issues that we're having in the county. I don't know if that's wittingly or unwittingly, but however, it's still a problem. So when I talked to them, they're a little bit older in age, so they didn't have any kids that are in the school system. But what I told them is, if we have a failing school system, what's going to happen is as that school declines, so goes your property value. Many of us grew up and may have not grew up in the best of neighborhoods. And the couple of generations before us would always say, well, Compton used to be a nice area. Or, where I grew up, the north side of Birmingham used to be beautiful. Well, what happened to it? It's the changes in leadership. And so goes your leadership. Things start to go downhill. So I could see the concern on their faces the more we started to talk, and they completely get it. And I said, well, the banks love this, because as soon as you say, well, honey, I think it's time we pack up and we move and go somewhere else, you probably, if your house is not paid off, you're going to end up with a new loan. The bank gets a new origination fee. And when that next person comes to inhabit your property that you're moving out of, the bank wins again. So the district attorney's office is so important because it is a part of the forcing function. When I mean forcing function, I mean we all have to make decisions in life on which direction that we're going to go. I mean, that's from an early age all the way until we, someday pass away. We're making all kinds of decisions. So if we got let's say we got a good police force, right? They're going out here every day, risking their life, trying to catch the criminals. And then when it's time to prosecute the crime that's allegedly been committed, and the district attorney is not being successful or not running on a platform saying that they wasn't really running to prosecute crime, then that will kill the morale of great police officers. So coming up, I'm going to play a cold open before we have a special guest come on, of a guest that we had on here that's from New York City by the name of Madeline Brain. And what you're about to see is her giving a testimony before Jim Jordan up in Congress. I guess it probably was in a subcommittee meeting about the job that Alvin Bragg is doing up in Manhattan.
You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Madeline Brame. I am the chairwoman of Victims' Rights Reform Council. I'm also the mother of a homicide victim. My son, Sergeant Hassan Korea, Afghanistan War retired veteran, was killed in Harlem in 2018. Hassan was kicked, punched, stomped, and stabbed 9 times by 4 individuals he did not know, nor had he done them any harm. When Alvin Bragg came into office, he was handed a strong, trial-ready murder case and gang assault case against all 4 of these individuals, where this brutal, savage homicide was captured on video. As soon as he took office, the case immediately began to unravel. He completely dismissed gang assault and murder indictments against 2 of the defendants, clearly on video, participating in the brutal, savage slaughter of my son. Mary Saunders, the sister involved in the homicide. He dismissed her indictment and recharged her with assault with a shoe and sentenced her to 1 year time served. Travis Stewart dismissed his gang assault and murder indictment and sentenced him to attempted gang assault. And he pled guilty and sentenced him to 7 years. Travis will be out in the next 18 months. Mary Saunders, this savage, is currently walking the streets of Harlem. If that's not a threat to public safety, I don't know what is. She's capable at any moment of snapping and attacking someone and holding them while someone else plunges a butcher knife into their body 9 times, and another person 12 times, and then run away and leave their body in the street to bleed to death. I was totally disrespected. Me, my family, my grandchildren, we were treated like garbage. Like garbage. I've sat for 4.5 years and saw mothers walk in and out. We have a mother sitting here right now whose son, 2 sons, one died and the other one is on a colonoscopy bag. We don't give a damn about your politics. As long as whoever's in there, it stands for law and order and is going to return some civility and sanity to our city.
57% of the time. For some perspective, at least 87% of murder cases ended in conviction in DeKalb, Fulton, and Cobb counties.
I started looking into this when people involved in some of these murder cases, including family members of some of the victims, were raising concerns with how many murder acquittals were happening right here in court.
It was the most devastating day of our life.
Last year, a jury found the defendant, Carlton Sermons, not guilty for their murder after police found him with the murder weapon. In Gwinnett County, murder suspects are more likely to be acquitted than in any other large neighboring county in metro Atlanta. Voters elected Austin Gatson in 2020 based on a campaign promising reforms that she says she is delivering.
We had 18 young people that had their first brush with the law that are now having a second chance.
I think that the people that were let go when the new administration came in had a lot more jury trial experience than a lot of the folks that were hired.
It feels like we have a system that fails us.
Now, the DA says she's investing in more forensic equipment that'll help get better pictures at crime scenes because she says jurors are demanding more. She also says she didn't run on convictions. She says she ran to, quote, bring justice, equity, and fairness to the situation.
And there you have it. Patsy Austin Gaston is telling you what she's there to do and not do. She didn't run on convictions. Now, just let that sink in for a second. A district attorney that's not running on what she's supposed to be hired to do. And to all the people that's, voting for individuals like that, when you go in go in there and cast your ballot, if that's what you want your community and society to look like, then just keep voting for it. But this is not the type of work that someone will do to do what's in the best interest of the people. I mean, running to not prosecute crime, not running on convictions, then who is she representing? She can't be representing the people. We already see what the dumpster fire that New York is. The reason why I showed those two clips is because right here in this county in Gwinnett, we already have people that are going through the same kind of repercussions that a rogue DA not doing his or her job, the type of output that produces. This county is being held together right now by the men and women that came before most of us, including myself, that moved to Gwinnett, for example. The schools are on a downward slope right now. It's because of the decisions that are being made, and they're all political decisions. You got a kid that's running around the school terrorizing people. How different does that sound with people that's running around terrorizing the community? It's the same thing, folks. We need law and order, and we need people that are going to go in these offices. And look, I tell people that are running, do not expect the local news media to rally behind you, because when you step in those offices, there's going to be a grip of hard decisions that you're going to have to make on day one in order to defend the citizens of Gwinnett County against depravity and evil, because that's what it is. Don't think you're going to go in there and have some kind of kumbaya, oh, I'm going to reach across the aisle. I'm going to look to work with this person or that person. It may not happen. And it's great when you're able to do those things. But that is not where we are, folks. It's not. There are people losing their loved ones, and my wife is scared to go to the grocery store. She will not go to the grocery store in the evening time. That's where we're at. We don't need people in positions that are looking for outcomes for criminals in their behalf. They have a choice to make. And everybody in this county has one to make. And it starts at the house. With how we raise our families, with how we respect our neighbors, and how we stand up against this nonsense that's going on right here in our county. We do not have to go in the opposite direction. We don't have to go downhill. But it's going to take some people with some guts. I'm just telling you what I know. It's going to take men and women binding together, locking arms to defeat this depravity that's going on in Gwinnett County. And I'm telling you, I'm on the streets every day. I'm talking to somebody. And, my wife's probably going to get me for this, but I'm late coming home because every single day I make it my business to talk to at least one or two people. One or two people, whether it's at the gas station, the grocery store. And I don't know these people from a can of paint, but I can tell you this. They don't agree with a lot of the choices and decisions that leadership in this county is making. I'm telling you, they don't. And if the people in parties that are about law and order will get a ground game, the electorate is ours for the taking. It's ours for the taking. And I'm not even speaking of one particular party. I'm talking about what the people want. The people want law and order, good schools, and safe communities. But we're going to have a sane school board, okay? A good district attorney that's going to do your job and prosecute crime. And not stop running around here talking about how many second chances you handed out because somebody had their first brush with the law. That's a lie. This is how this goes. By the time a person gets to the district attorney's office or a sheriff's office, he or she has had 1 to 4 different opportunities. Let me name them out for you in case you don't know. First of all, number 1, at home. Number 2, the school system. Okay? No, they're not there to run a jail system, but They are there to allow these kids to have an opportunity to make a choice, period. Number 3, governmental agencies, social work, and or your churches or what have you. That's the 3rd strike. When you end up in the handcuffs of the police officer, usually that is the 3rd or 4th strike. And that's just the bottom line. So, without any further ado, we're going to have a special guest come on, Miss Elvia. Elvia, welcome to the War Room. I wanted to have you come on today to tell your story about what happened with your husband and your interaction with the district attorney's office right here in Gwinnett County, and how you feel about the outcome. So you can go ahead and just kind of start and, let the people know what happened and where we are today.
Hello, good afternoon. Well, my name again is Elvia Davila Pelayo, and my husband was murdered here by Grayson, Georgia, in December 18 of 2021, outside of our home. Unfortunately, by my brother, a person that has no fear of God, and did it on purpose in front of 2 witnesses. And we waited as good citizens for believing in the system of Gwinnett County to wait for the trial to come in. We had a prosecutor, her name was Christina Lee. We had investigators. The investigator was Cleveland. And we were told that they had everything to prosecute and put him for life. He got warrants for felony murder and aggravated assault. Everything went before a grand jury, and he was found and charged for malice murder, aggravated assault, and aggravated battery. So we waited. Thank God he was denied bond. And we waited for the trial to come in. And a month before the trial was to start, we just got switched to another district attorney. We had a meeting. When I say we, was my family, my kids, and my husband's brother and family members. We didn't feel sure about him. We told them we didn't feel that he had everything how Christina Lee said that they had everything. Right away, as soon as he took the case, he started saying that it was much harder to prosecute for malice murder, that he was going to indict again for felony murder, that it brought the same amount of years in jail. We were not happy about that. And then suddenly, he just, a couple days right before the trial, he just called and said that he negotiated to a bench trial, not a jury trial, and that he negotiated to voluntary manslaughter, drop completely the charge for aggravated battery.
So did he ask you guys what you thought about the switch, or
at all? He just did it himself. He said it was a done deal. I was all over the place. My family, you have no idea. We were just crying, saying we were just going to be in the news, that they messed with the wrong family, that this was just a wrong thing to do. My husband was a very valuable husband and person in general in the community, a business owner, a man of God, and had a beautiful family, 22 years of marriage. And knowingly that on purpose, how he got betrayed by my brother, they wanted to kill him and take away the business and the house and get him out as a accident and put me in a mental institute. I mean, I almost lost it. It was really hard. And then just bring my parents from out of the country and be a loving for grandparents, but they're just in the bad world. And I talked to the right authorities about all this. They said they had everything to prosecute him accordingly, that they had the more than enough evidence why he did it. And it was for the reasons that I explained them. And last minute, there was not enough evidence, according to Drew Unger, that we didn't have enough evidence, and he just negotiated the plea. We ended up going to the bench trial, but there was no bench trial. It was just a plea there.
So why did they explain to you why they all of a sudden switched to a different person in office?
The only thing they said, they were short-staffed, that Christina Lee didn't have enough experience, which, I mean, Drew Unger never also tried a murder case before, so I don't know what he was talking about. I saw on the hearing for the bond, Christina was there, and she did the right thing, and he didn't get bond. On the plea, the last hearing that we had, Drew Unger didn't do anything. I have the plea transcript. Pretty much just said it was like an accident and that it was a very unfortunate family crime. And
yeah. So do you mind can you go back and tell the audience what happened, with what you're comfortable with sharing that day, so that they can have an idea of the horror, because I went through some of the information that I found, and it was very horrific. What occurred.
It was a horrific crime. We had a reenactment for a nativity here in my home. We have children. It was a family gathering. My brother, we had a couple years without not having communication because of his way of living. So being with the wrong people. That day, he wanted to just talk to my husband. They were in the fire pit. My husband was just doing some, like, roasting some meat in the fire pit, and he just wanting to kept talking. He was chill, just talking. I kept saying, go inside, but no, he just wanted to keep him outside, supposedly talking, and suddenly he just pushed him to the back, saying, why did you have these two people here? My husband was, well, they're your friends, and I wanted you to feel comfortable because you've been a long time not coming to my house, and I wanted you to be comfortable. And we had another witness. My husband was like, but do you see any other problem? The other guy was like, no, not at all. Everything was just calm and nice. And he just started punching him. My husband pledged for his life, like, just tell him, dude, like, I appreciate you. I like you. I don't want to hit you. I don't want to hurt you, 3 times. And he just said that he was going to go and bring a gun. So the other guy, the other witness, just took him out. He was punching him. He was just going crazy towards the street. He's like, you got to leave. My husband, being a good host, just walked towards them, not on the street, but just towards them, because he got scared that he could shoot the other person. And instead of him backing up and going to the road, he backed up and ran into our property, into our yard, and he just got completely ran over. My husband was on the hood of the truck, hitting the hood and saying, stop, stop. And he never braked, he never stopped, and till I just saw him, how he went through the wheels, and he just tried to back up. And I was just screaming all over for help and everything. I told the other witness to just pull him into 3 trees. That way, like, if he gets ran over, it was just going to be the legs, but not his upper body parts. But it was already, the damage was done already. And he just screamed at me that he was done, and just a really bad cuss word, like, go fuck my mother. And he was done and just ran away from the scene. I was screaming for help, or call 911. They got here. I told them what happened. And ever since, we've just been battling until, I mean, these people are very smart. Gwinnett is creating a nest. It's the perfect place for them to come and do crimes. And it's a lot of people like that. It's a lot of people going after people that are doing their job, paying their taxes. And I mean, it's just not my family saying this. We got to see the big picture. We're not happy with what Gwinnett has become in the last years and the crime, how it's rising. And we wanted just how it was before, law and order, which is not happening. We're becoming soft and letting all these criminals come and do atrocious things. And we could be sitting down in the house very comfortable because it's not happening to us. But if we don't do anything about it, it's going to become LA, it's going to become Oakland, it's going to become New York, it's just going to become, because the leaders are not doing their job at all. They're going there. I go to the courts, different courts to different cases, and I see where they go. The people, the families are in huge amount of pain. And the prosecutor goes up to the judge and says, I'm not aware about the case. I know this is what happened. I'm not aware. And they just keep granting bonds wow. to criminals. This criminal that did this atrocious thing in my house, because I cannot call him my brother, but the only thing that he got was 5 years house arrest, where they allowed him to go out in the community, work as a contractor, be knocking doors and bidding on jobs, on windows, on roofing, knocking the community's door. And he's a criminal. He killed on purpose my husband.
Wow. So after all this, he's currently out knocking doors?
Not at this moment, not right
Okay.
now, but he was, he got sentenced to 5 years house arrest and 5 years probation with first-time home offender program, first-time offenders. So out of those 10, I mean, he was going to serve probably like half and have a perfect clean record, criminal record. These people are very smart to do their crimes. They know what they're doing and how they're doing it. And I kept telling the district attorney how this person was, everything. The investigator kept saying, yes, we know, we are aware, and everything is going to go smoothly. Well, they hired last minute a company to reenact like if it was basically lie that it was an accident. We never got to testify. We never got to see any evidence. What they got last week by my attorney, I just got part of the file of the case where I can see the phone calls that he was doing to people while he was on the run, telling, like, you know, in a second, like Brad Liberty is going to call you, which I know it was some person called Brett, and he was going to be the Liberty. And if he's going to back out with the money for the attorney, and like he lawyered up and everything before he got arrested. How they said, well, you hit him with the front of the truck. Right? You hit him with the back of the truck, right? Not exactly. Okay, well, just make sure you cleaned everything. And, you know, things like that. And
wow.
Patsy needs to do her job. There's a lot of people in the community going through this that they're not doing their job prosecuting accordingly. She doesn't have the right persons, the people with experience. And right now, he kept violating his probation.
Yeah. Well,
Patsy
told the people what she was running on. She said she didn't run on convictions.
No, she's giving
second chances.
No, we're turning a nest for crime in Gwinnett. That's what's going on right now with this. So what I ask is if you're not happy with what Gwinnett is becoming, step up. Step up right now that we have a chance before you're sitting in my chair where I'm at right now, losing a loved one that is very valuable, that time will not bring him back. Everything has a solution except death.
That's right.
And right now, we're at a point where we can do a difference. And there's a lot of people that are not happy, but don't feel that because it's not happening to me, it won't happen. We got to do something about it right now. If you have children, you have grandchildren, step up and vote accordingly. Because right now, It's going south. Everything is just going south. We could have a great department of police, but they put their lives in risk every day out there. They come out, they bring the bad people, but they don't get prosecuted. They just let them out on bond or 5 years probation and 5 years house arrest. First time home offenders.
Yeah, or a second chance, you know.
Like second chances. I have 2 teenagers in Grayson school district, 16-year-old high school, 13-year-old middle school, and my daughter is in college in Gwinnett. What do I tell my children when a criminal, a knowingly criminal, killed their father? It's my brother, so that's already a big burden in my back towards my children. They're like, your brother killed my dad. I'm fighting for justice, protesting there every single month for him to go back to jail. They tell me the case is closed. His wife, my brother's wife, was fighting a case with her, with the department, because the year before, my brother beat her up. She was purple in her head, in her face.
This is not his first. And I said this in the schools. This is not his first dance with what's going on. And see, this is what happens when we don't take. It's about choices. And everybody has to make one. And that's the criminal that's committing the crime. And that's the person responsible for dealing with it and prosecuting them. And when we let these things just tarry on and go on down and the can goes down the road, somebody loses their life.
Look, Antonio, look, his son called the police in Lilburn. The police department arrived to their house. My brother ran to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and cut himself and said, well, she cut me. She was the one that got arrested. She kept fighting the case to get the custody of the kids. She was not done with that when he murdered my husband. Wow. Now, after he got this slap on the wrist for killing a human being, a valuable person, she leaves to Washington State, to his family, to a shelter, saying, he's going to kill me. This person is dangerous. We can't believe that he killed a person and he's out. And so she's frightening for her safety and her kids. She moves. She goes to a judge, tells everything. That she brings the papers, sends the papers to the sheriff department here in Georgia. But they're so short understaffed that they cannot serve to Ernesto, to my brother. We have to hire a private company. He gets served. The district attorney says that he's going to prosecute, he's going to bring him in again in jail and put charges for terroristic threats, because he's saying, to the wife, you better pray to God and know that you're doing the right decisions, because you already know what I'm capable of, and sends the picture of the truck that he killed my husband with.
Wow.
By the way, all this time,
so wait a minute. So he sends, as a threat to his wife, who's left because she's afraid of him. Exactly. He took a picture of the truck that he killed your husband in to remind her of what he is capable of. Exactly.
And meanwhile, all these days, he's driving the trophy that he killed my husband with, because he sees this as a trophy. He's posting in social media, dance clubs, he's in the gym, he's at parties. He's threatening my family, my husband's family, that, whenever we confront each other, I'm ready, and just saying all kinds of things. I'm taking all this to Drew Unger, to the district attorney, and he's like, I'm going to bring him in for terroristic threats, for lying to probation, because he wanted to transfer his sentence to Oregon, because that's where he moved from, Portland. The crime there, it's just skyrocketed. So here he would laugh, saying, oh my God, everything is so easy here. People are so naive, so good. I mean, it's so easy to do whatever you want. And he kept sending me videos threatening me about, you need to take care of my kids. doing this type of businesses, which was illegal, but the authorities think saying that that's not enough evidence. Till now, my husband is dead. And he was out on the street. So May 25th, they put him in jail. Right now, I'm waiting to see if there's any possible way to resentence him. But we had a August
So wait,
11th
his kids are with wife, or where are
with
his kids?
wife in Washington. Do
Okay.
not want to get any near. I have the declarations stamped by a judge, by the court, where they do not want to talk to him at all. They don't want to see him. They're afraid of him. They're afraid that he killed his uncle, which my husband helped them, trying to get him, hey, dude, you have a beautiful family. Go to AA. You got this. You can stay away from those, but from those bad people and bad choices.
So
He's
substance abuse. You said AA
in the past.
in the past. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I have not been close to him, but what does Gwinnett County do? I mean, they let him out. They let him out, and now I've been fighting, protesting for him to get resentenced and prosecute accordingly, because obviously I'm in danger. My kids are in danger. My husband's family is in danger. His own family is in danger. We know if he goes out on the street, he's going to keep doing what he's doing. And people, I mean, Patsy, I understand if she's not going through the same situation as we are. We're good people. We're victims. And I feel that we just had a slap in our face. It's the worst thing. Bring your 3 children before a judge on a trial, beg for justice for their dad, explain who he was for type of getting this type of sentence. So what do I do as a mother now, where my husband put my kids in sports every weekend at church, and they're like, really? Your brother killed my dad? There's no justice? I want to put him in law enforcement, become the good guys, but they're like, there's no justice out there. There's nothing. And that's why I keep fighting and protesting to do the right thing. It's very painful. It's very painful and imaginable. Like, I mean, he did everything. We were business partners. We would travel together. He was my person. My safe person. Our family, we were very happy. And something that he never got to have a taste of because his choices. But it's not our fault that a person does the wrong choice. You have to prosecute accordingly. We need law and order. And that's what I want to fight. And I'm fighting it for my kids, because what are we going to show our kids?
That's right.
What are we going to show our kids? That people can kill, get out of jail, don't pay, don't do anything? No, I have to fight it even stronger for them. Right. But we all as a community, because we're not happy with the outcome at all.
Yeah, and your efforts are not going unnoticed, and your voice is not going unheard. I encourage you to continue. We here at War Room and everybody that supports what we're doing here be behind you 100%. Yeah, because you're right. We got to have law and order. We have because it's just going to spiral into chaos. And I'll say it, and you'll probably hear me say it 1,000 times. We're living today off of the hard work and effort of the people that came here to this county before us, but it's not going to last forever. It is our turn to stand up like Elvia is, in our own capacity, no matter what it is. And everybody might, a person may not run for office. It may just be you showing up at a rally, or, sharing some content, or showing your regard and support for people who are enduring these types of things. We can do this, we can do this. And, the Bible says, and my pastor always says this in Luke 1:37, for with God, nothing shall be impossible. Nothing. That includes all things. Nothing. Things. That means he can do anything, but we have to be proactive. We have to go on offense, and your sister had the opportunity to separate herself from the situation and get up and move away from what's going on. This violence is occurring in our schools every single day. So just imagine a kid in close proximity that can't get up and pack and move away from the violence that's happening, or who may be scared to go to the bathroom and all kinds of things. This stuff is everywhere. We have to fight everywhere, and we're going to have to dig the root of these issues out. The root, and the work is going to start. The work is already started. But when these candidates and everything that come through here that we're trying to vet for the people and help get their message out, and, if people feel so compelled on who to follow and who to vote for and support, I'm telling them every time that I talk to them, the work is going to begin. You're going to have people crying bloody murder. You're going to have to ignore it and do the right thing.
The right thing. Murder is a murder. And we have to stay strong. This is what happens when you start separating from God. And a murder is a murder. You have to prosecute accordingly. What do I tell my children? Yeah. Be soft, do whatever, you go to jail, I bail you out. And no, you do something wrong, you face the consequences.
That's right.
You don't have your father anymore. You have to do the right choice. And we have to become somebody. You have to get the career. There's no shortcuts in life. You have to do the right thing. Yes, it's very painful what we've gone through, very painful, but we still have to do the right thing. And I'm fighting out there, and I'm telling you, we hire an attorney. This people, when I say this people, is the prosecutor, the district attorney's office, not happy about it. They're saying that there are attorneys, that they are the victim's attorney. No, they weren't. They didn't even fight at all for my husband on that supposedly bench trial or whatever plea it was. Nothing. So we have an attorney. They're not even looking at me or speaking at me. They should become humans, come to the level of a human being, and just endure, know the pain that the family is in. This is not a fight towards the department or towards personally. This is a fight for the government to do the right thing, prosecute accordingly, bring law and order in Gwinnett, because that's what we need. And that's what we need for our youngsters that are coming, because this is why it's happening, so many things, because they're just doing second chances, not second chances, so many chances before.
That's right. That's right. We need choices and not chances.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your time today coming on the War Room. This won't be the last time. Definitely, we have plenty of work to do with the DA's office and focus leading up to the next election. Can you tell
the sheriff?
The sheriff, school board, we got a laundry list of things that we got to make sure that we have the right people in position.
I have a couple ideas. I know that, they might, but I would like to talk to the right people. Let's talk about, a little bit, international, Salvador, so many gangs, so many crime. But if you bring law and order enforcement, strength, we can see how things start changing. And we have to make a change right now, that we still have a chance. It's just, we have a chance, a good chance.
Yeah, we definitely have a chance. So can you tell people how to follow you and some of the things that you have come up? Because I know there's a monthly protest that you have. How can people follow you so that they can stay on top of how to support you and find all the links that you need to share with everybody?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Elvia, Elvia, Pelayo, Pelayo. I have a change.org, a petition for my husband to get justice, for him to reopen the case in the Supreme Court or get resentenced, and come out. There's a lot of cases. Stand up, come out. You're not alone. I know that it feels very lonely out there when all these things happen, when you just get a slap in the face and go home, no justice be done. But just know that you're not alone. We're here to support each other. And whatever you can do to come out to the protest, we always do it at 75 Langley Drive, which is in front of the Superior Court of Gwinnett County. And just become involved in the community. I mean, that's what I'm asking. So Elvia Pelayo, that's where you find me, Facebook and Instagram.
All right. Thank you. Well, we'll appreciate the time.
I appreciate your time. Thank you, Antonio.
All right.
You do such a great job here.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. You know, my job is easy. You know, it's the people that watch the show and that share the content, and people like you that share their stories that are out here actually trying to make a difference.
Where the tax money goes, they just keep raising it, but we don't see more law and order, and definitely it's just not going better. It's going south. So we need to make a change. That's what we need to do.
That's right. Well, we appreciate you coming on, and we'll definitely have you back. And we have some other things that are in the works to cover your story and everything, so we can really dig in, so people can understand the detriment that this has caused your family, and the outcome that it can have for the county over time if we don't get this corrected.
Yeah, going through a very terrific thing like this, and I mean, just imagine this type of criminal. If he is capable of doing this to his own blood, what's out there stopping him for anybody else that it's not even their family, you know? So his own wife and kids are begging for him to just go to jail and stay away from them. While my kids are crying for their father that never was a violent person, just beautiful soul, a beautiful person, and this has to stop.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate it, and appreciate having you on, and just hang on for a second, if you will.
Thank you.
All right, guys. These stories are so important that we cover here in War Room. You know, just wanted you to hear up close and personal her story and everything that went on, and all of this is everything's relative. You know, there are no coincidences. The same language and everything that's about equity and all of this is that what we're hearing in the school board. You heard in her story where her sister-in-law packed up, moved the kids to another state. You know, what about the kids that are being assaulted and threatened every single day in Gwinnett County public schools, and not much is being done about it? This is the same thing. And we got to address this. We got to deal with it, you know, and we need to focus on choices and not chances, because these kids, they got a choice to make, you know, and when they make the wrong one, you know, they can end up going down a bad road, but they should not affect rest of society and other kids and other families in the communities that are trying to be in safe neighborhoods and that are going to school trying to learn. We can't allow this. We cannot allow it. And if we do, this is just going to be a rolling devaluation. And then when we get older, you know, we'll be the ones telling our kids, you know, Gwinnett County it used to be such an awesome place. You know, it was outstanding. It was great. Well, what happened? Nobody stood up. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the War Room. And we'll see you on the next one.
War Room, Gwinnett County, the people's voice, keeping you informed. War Room, Gwinnett County, the people's voice.